Now to a developing story. The U.S. Supreme Court is deciding whether to hear a case that could overturn the landmark decision legalizing same-sex marriage nationwide.
Today in Tallahassee, lawmakers pushed forward a controversial bill restricting what kinds of flags can be displayed at government buildings and schools.
Under the bill, pride flags would not be allowed to fly at city halls and other public property.
Yesterday, the justices agreed to take up a challenge to a Colorado law that bans so-called conversion therapy. This is therapy aimed at young people who are questioning their sexual orientation or gender identity.
Since taking office, President Trump has targeted trans people, like barring trans women and girls from sporting competitions, and now barring trans people from serving in the military.
The Trump administration is eliminating a lifeline that has served more than 1 million young people in crisis. Suicide prevention services for LGBTQ+ youth, now offered through the 988 Crisis Lifeline, will lose all funding starting next month.
Well, there's alarming data tonight from the FBI's latest report on crime. It shows that even as overall crime decreases, hate crimes are on the rise. And as Action News race and culture reporter Taronda Thomas tells us, those crimes often target members of the LGBTQ community.
Growing up, especially during the beginning years of high school, when I first began to question my sexuality, I surrounded myself in this bubble where I had a lot of online queer friends and consistently indulged in queer media. Being in this bubble, however, caused me to be content with the way the world around me views the LGBTQIA+ community. Getting a little older, and in the wake of the most recent presidential election, I have grown to realize that the future I used to envision for myself back in high school, which allows an endless amount of freedom of gender expression, now seems unobtainable. In this future, I would imagine living in a society where LGBTQIA+ people wouldn't have to confine themselves to a binary box, and would be freely open to express themselves without discrimination, and also be able to choose what they want to be labeled as, if they do want one, a label that also doesn't erase their differences. Like Gloria Ansaldúa mentions in her chapter, To Queer the Writer, Loca Escritoria y Chicana. In this future, I would also imagine a place where queer women like myself would be able to share their experiences on what it means to be 1, a woman, 2, a woman of color, and 3, a queer woman on top of that. Because when I first started questioning my sexuality, I knew a lot of colored queer women, including myself, who would love to hear from someone similar to ourselves and how that person navigated the world, given that they had these intersecting identities attached to them. But because I believe that a society should acknowledge the importance of statistics, I also believe that they should recognize the queer color critique, which is defined in this course as a body of scholarship that insists on putting the question of race at the center of queer approaches. And in this future I envision for myself, I would want people to question things like, why are Black trans women more subject to both physical and sexual assault? Or why queer women of color in general experience and report hate crimes but have nothing done about it. One of the most important things I also envisioned in the future I want to live in is a society where people are educated enough to realize that a majority of the stereotypes you hear about queer people are myths, like Melinda D. Anderson emphasizes in her article, The Ongoing Battle Over Ethnic Studies, where she emphasizes the importance of ethnic studies courses because these courses are usually the things that can dispel myths. And even though right now in 2025, going into 2026, this future seems very unrealistic, especially with the direction the United States is going in, I still believe that this is a future that me and my friends will be able to live in one day.